So, in the last class, we learned how to obtain initial basic feasible solution of transportation problem. Now, we are going to study the method of obtaining optimal solution from the initial basic feasible solution which we got either from northwest corner method or Vogel's approximation method. Vogel's approximation method known as Boehm method. I also discussed matrix minima method. So, in fact, there are three popular methods for obtaining initial basic feasible solutions. These are northwest corner method, northwest corner rule, matrix minima method, and the Vogel's approximation method. I did tell you that northwest corner method, although very easy in application, gives a solution which is far away from the optimality because it does not give any consideration to the cost associated with transportation of material from one origin to another destination. In the matrix minima method, cost is duly considered, but we start from the least cost and slowly improve upon the highest cost. So this does not give consideration to the penalty if we do not say allocate some quantity at the lowest cost. This is why Vogel's approximation method or Boehm method has been used, where penalty of not allocating at the least cost is considered across all rows and columns, and where the penalty is maximum, the first allocation is made, and similarly the process is repeated till we get the final allocation. So Vogel's approximation method is very near to the optimal solution, and we always prefer to find out the initial basic feasible solution by Boehm so that the solution, the final, obtaining the final solution becomes very easy. I again highlight that in the examination you will definitely get one problem from transportation. So you always find out the initial basic feasible solution by Boehm only, and application of Boehm is not difficult, it is very easy, and then hardly in 1 to 2 steps you will get the final solution. So first we should test the optimality. So once initial solution is obtained, we have to check whether the optimal solution has been achieved or not, because this initial solution may be optimal, may not be optimal. So we have to test it. If the optimal solution has been reached, what does it mean? That there is no further scope for changing the transportation route, which will reduce the total transportation cost. So there are two methods for testing the optimality. One is the stepping stone method. Another is modified distribution method. Modified MO distribution DI. So 2 letters of modified and 2 letters of distribution have been joined, and this is known as Modi method. Modified distribution is abbreviated as Modi method. This is also known as UV method. So we shall discuss both the methods, but today we shall study the stepping stone method. I would personally suggest you that you use to apply, or you learn to apply BHAM for the initial basic feasible solution and Modi method for the optimal solution. If you practice on these two methods, it will be very easy to solve the transportation problem both at your home and in the examination hall. The stepping stone method is slightly lengthy, but because this is prescribed in your course, I have to explain this to you. So today we shall concentrate on stepping stone method. The stepping stone method is actually an interactive technique from moving from the initial solution to the optimal solution. So the first condition to apply stepping stone method is that the number of occupied cells must be equal to m plus n minus 1, where m is the number of rows, n is the number of cells. So number of allocated cells or occupied cells should be equal to m plus n minus 1. It should not be less, it should not be more. So if the number of occupied cells is equal to m plus n minus 1, this is the step 1, then we go to step 3, when we skip step 2, otherwise we go to step 2. Step 2 is that if the number of occupied cells is less than m plus n minus 1, then we convert the non-basic cells into basic cells by allocating a small cost, infinitesimally small cost epsilon in that cell. This treatment we shall study in degeneracy in next class. So we here consider that, say that number of occupied cells is equal to m plus n minus 1. So what is the next step? Here, even if you do step 2, then also you have to go step 3, because you have converted the non-basic cells into basic cells. So after converting non-basic cells into basic cells, we go to step 3. What is the step 3? We evaluate all non-basic cells for the effect of transferring one unit from a basic cell to non-basic cell. This is the crux. This is the main theme of this method. That what will be the effect on the cost if you transfer one unit of a material from the basic cell, means occupied cell, to a non-occupied cell. So this transfer is made by forming a closed loop, closed path that retain the supply and demand conditions of the problem. Why the closed path? Why the closed path? So that the rim conditions, the supply and demand conditions, are not disturbed. So the evaluation is conducted under the following steps. So we first select all the non-basic cells which are to be evaluated. Beginning with the selected non-basic cell, we draw a closed path consisting of only horizontal and vertical line, passing through at least 3 basic cells and finally coming back to the non-basic cell. You can change a direction only at some basic cell, and that also at an angle of 90 degree only. Means if you are going horizontally, you can go vertical. If you are going vertical, you can go horizontal. At each corner of the closed path, you assign alternatively plus and minus sign, beginning with plus sign for the non-basic cell which is going to be evaluated. And this you can go either clockwise or anti-clockwise, means positive and negative signs can be assigned either in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Then we compute the net change in cost along the closed path by adding together the unit transportation cost associated with each cell drawn in the closed path. And if addition of all these costs decreases, then there is a chance of improvement. If it is equal, there is no chance of improvement, but alternate solutions are available. But if it is more than zero, means if the net changes is more than zero, it means because we are considering the minimization cost, so your cost will increase. So there is no improvement chance. It means the final solution has been achieved. So these are the steps. I will show you with example next in the next step. As I said, if net changes is greater than zero, it means your cost is going to increase. Therefore, the final solution has been obtained. No further step is required. If net change is zero, it means whatever changes you make in the allocation, it is not going to affect your optimal solution. Only thing could be that some allocations could change without changing the optimality. So it means that alternative solution exists in this case. So we also do not consider anything here. We stop the procedure. But if one or more loops show a change which is less than zero, it means improvement is possible, and then we go to the next step. What is the next step? We select the non-basic cell, means unoccupied cell, which is most negative net change among all non-basic cells. If two negative values are equal, then we select the one which will result in moving as many units as possible into the selected unoccupied cell with the minimum cost. And we allocate maximum possible quantity to that non-basic cell satisfying the rim conditions. The maximum numbers to be allocated are equal to the smaller number ignoring sign among the basic cells with minus value in the closed path. We move to step 3 again and repeat the procedure until all the cells are evaluated and net change is positive or zero. So let us now consider this problem. These X, Y, Z are the origins, 3 origins. There are 4 destinations A, B, C, and D. Each resource has, or each resource has some capacity. So say origin X, Y, Z have, origin or resource are synonymous terms here. So X, Y, Z have a capacity of supplying 20, 40, and 35 units. Destination A, B, C, D have the requirement of 16, 18, 31, and 30 units. Cost of transportation from each destination, each origin to another destination is given in this matrix, transportation matrix. And we have to find out the optimal solution for that, so that the cost of transportation is minimized. So for example, here if you supply 1 unit from the origin X to destination A, you incur a cost of rupees 10. A has the total requirement of 16, B has a total requirement 18, C has a total requirement 31, and D has a total requirement 30. So what is the total requirement? 16 plus 18, 34. 34 plus 31, 65, and 30, 95. What is the availability? 20 plus 40, 60, and 35, 95. So the total supply is equal to total demand. Total demand is 95, total supply is 95. The supply is equal to demand, therefore dim conditions are satisfied. Now we make the initial basic feasible solution by Vogel's approximation method. So Vogel's approximation method we apply here. So what you see here, for each row we calculate the penalty, means the list cost, and next to the list cost that we have discussed in the last class. So in the first row, for each row and each column we shall determine this. For the first row, the list cost is 7 and next to list cost is 8, so difference is 1, so this is 1. In the second row, this is 6 and 9, so the difference is of 3. Third row, it is 8 and 9, it is 1. Now if we go column wise, then it is 8 and 9, 1. 8 and 9, 1. 8 and 9 again 1. And 11 and 12, this is 1. 6 and 7, this is 1. So maximum difference or maximum penalty is in row 2, in the Y row. This is here 3. So we allocate the maximum possible quantity in that row where the cost is minimum. So the cell which has the minimum cost is YD, this one. Here D has a requirement of 30 and Y can supply maximum 40. So minimum of 2 is 30. So we say allocate 30 units here, 30 units here. What will happen? Now the demand of D will cease. So this we delete from the discussion. So say this demand has been fully met and Y has been depleted. This resource Y, origin Y, has been depleted by 30 units. So now its capacity is reduced from 40 to 10. 40 minus 30 is equal to 10 units. So now we have 1, 2, 3, say columns, and 1, 2, and 3 rows. Column, this column is deleted. Now again we calculate the difference. So what will happen? Now this difference is again 8 and 9 is 1, 1. 8 and 9 is again 1. 11 and 12, this is again 1. And this difference is 8 and 10, 2. 9 and 12, it is again 3. 8 and 9, it is 1. So what we see that again it is the Y row where this difference penalty is maximum. So we again try to allocate maximum possible quantity where the cost is minimum. So next, because this column does not exist, so now in this row, this cell has the minimum cost. YA has the minimum cost. So this has a requirement of 16. Destination A has a requirement of 16, but we have a stock of 10 only available at this origin Y. So we supply 10 here. So what happens? This Y, or the capacity of Y has exhausted. So this Y row is deleted. Now we have only 2 rows, A, B, and X and Z, 3 columns, A, B, and C. And the requirement of we have given here 10 and requirement is 16, so 6 more we need to supply. So here requirement is reduced from 16 to 6. Again we calculate. So what will be the difference now? 8 and 10. This row is anyway not existing here. So 8 and 10 it is 2. This will be 9 and 8 1. 11 and 12 1. And here also 8 and 10 it will be 2. And in the column 12 and 14 it will be 2, and here it will be 8 and 9 1. So again the minimum cost is 8 here. So we can supply maximum 6 units because 10 units has already been given here. Requirement is for 6, so it will 6 units. Then its capacity is reduced from 35 to 29, and now this column is deleted. So now we have only 2 columns, B and C columns, and only 2 rows, X and Z. So if in the same way, if you calculate, we do the allocations and calculate the initial cost. Initial cost comes to 18 into 8 says 18 units has gone. Let us go row wise. 18 units have been transported from origin X to destination B. So the cost of transportation is 18 into 8. Similarly, it is 2 into 11, 10 into 9 plus 30 into 6 plus 9 into 8 into 6, 8 into 6 plus 29 into 12, and this comes to 832 rupees. So this is the initial cost, 83. Now we do the optimality test. So what we do, to see which are the unoccupied cells. You see here number of occupied cells are there are 1, 2, 3 rows and 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. So m is equal to 3, n is equal to 4. So m plus n minus is equal to 6. So there should be 6 occupied cells for the transportation problem. And then only we can do the optimality test. So see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 rows. There are 6 occupied cells. The problem is non-degenerate, and we can do the further operations on this table. So here we have seen that number of basic cells or occupied cells or allocated cells is equal to m plus n minus 1. Therefore, this is not a case of degeneracy. Non-degeneracy solution exists, and we move to next step. So we evaluate the non-basic cells one by one. Let us first select the non-basic cell AX. This AX. We assign positive sign here, and from here we go to, we skip here because we from here if we change the direction we come here and we cannot make a loop. So you have to see how you can make a closed loop. So if necessary you can skip an occupied cell also. So here we have skip this occupied cell. We have started here, we have gone here. This is an occupied cell. Here we can change the direction, but we can go either vertically upward or vertically downward. We cannot go vertically upward because this will be the out of the boundary of the transportation table. So we come downward, reach here. Here again we can change the direction in 90 degree. So we come here. Here it is again an occupied cell. We go upward and reach here. So this is the loop which we have made. We start, we assign positive value here in the unoccupied cell, and wherever direction has been changed, we give alternately negative and positive sign. So we have started from positive sign here, negative sign. Another direction has been changed here, so these are positive. Direction has been changed here, so negative. So positive, negative, positive, negative. So equal number of positive and negatives will come always. Remember. So after doing this, what happens? The positive and negative signs represents the addition or subtraction of one unit to a cell. Positive signs represents addition and negative signs represents subtraction of one unit to a cell. So based on this, on the basis of this closed loop, as shown in this table, the computation for improvement index for non-basic cell XA is what? Say plus 10, minus 11, it is then minus 1. Minus 1 plus 12, minus 1 plus 12 is equal to plus 11, and then minus 8, that is plus 3. So it is plus 3, plus 3. Here I have computed, so it is plus 3. This is X, not XD, this is XA. Non-basic cell XA is equal to 3. So it is a plus value. Plus value indicates what? Plus value indicates what? That if you want to make any change in this loop, the cost will increase instead of decreasing. So there is no scope for improvement. Similarly, we calculate the values of other non-basic cells. So which are the non-basic cells? We started with XA. This is occupied. This is also occupied. So then D. So the D, this one XD, say YB, YC, and then ZB and ZD. These are the unoccupied cells. So for that each cell, we have calculated this values by making different loops. So say for this, we start from here, or say we start from here. From here we go to here, this, and then we return here again. So this is plus, minus, and then minus. So wherever there is a direction change, we change the positive and negative signs alternatively. So we always start from plus and then minus. So you see the change in the cost. So this is 7 plus 7, minus 6, plus 1, and then it is plus 9, then it is plus 10, and then minus 8 is equal to plus 2, and 12, plus 14, minus 11 is equal to 3, plus 7, 10. So again it is positive. Therefore, we do not consider this. Likewise, we calculate for all the values, and these values are shown here. XA, YB, YC, ZB, ZD, and the values are computed here. So you see that all the values are positive or zero. So the optimal solution has been achieved. Now, based on that, we closed path and improvement index, net change in the improvement index table. Here we have calculated this. So this is always positive or zero. So the cost is 517 rupees. So 517 was the initial cost of allocation by BHAM method. So you have seen that BHAM at the very first stage gave you an optimal solution. So the optimal solution obtained by BHAM Vogel's approximation method is the same as what is the optimal value here. So 517 is the optimal cost of transportation. So this is the answer. This is the stepping stone method. In the next class, we shall learn Modi method or modified distribution method for testing optimality. Thank you. We end here today.